Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Live here. And yeah, as the title probably suggests, I haven't fully decided what it's going to be yet. I have too many controllers, too many Switch controllers to be more precise. I own far more Switch controllers than any other system. All of my other systems, in fact, combined. It's kind of ridiculous. I've just generally accumulated them over the years. You know, they've been sent to me for review and things like that. We used to do a lot more of that back in the day. We don't really do any of that now, but you know, it was a thing. It was a thing. A lot of them I've just given away to friends or family, you know, because I've got no use for this many controllers. I've already got too many of them, and I think I've given away maybe not as much as I've got here, but certainly a good chunk. But I know what you're wondering. You're wondering how many is too many. Is this too many? That's not even all. I've also got an entire Cappy's worth of Joycon, which you can now see quite delightfully on camera number 2, which is not so much having its debut, but it's been a while since we've used it, and it's useful in this instance, so lucky you. So I've got all these controllers. I'm gonna tell you which ones are crap. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. Alright, let's get the Joy-Con out of the way, because yeah, I've got an entire hat's worth here, and realistically, they're pretty much all the same. You know, I've got like the Mario Joy-Con. Is that even in focus? Let's sort that out. I've got the Super Mario Odyssey Joy-Con, and they are what they are. I've also got these ones are relatively interesting. These are they're just like a custom job, you know. I didn't do it myself, but you know, they're fun. Got the ARMS ones as well. They're good. I actually really like those. Like to combine them with this one, which is one half of the Splatoon one. And here's the other half, the pink and green. Marvelous. We've also got a standard set here. We got a standard. Actually, it's an inverse, isn't it? It's an inverted set. Got a standard set downstairs as well. But they're not mine. They technically belong to my partner Sasha. So I wasn't going to bring them up because, I mean, well, I should have done actually, but just believe me. Eevee and Pikachu, these are pretty cool as well. I quite like to use this yellow one with the green as well, I think. Yes, I do like to do that. Brown one's fine as well, but you know, it's not quite as interesting. We'll do that one last. Also got these white ones. These are a custom job that I actually did myself. They're fine, you know. I don't like the fact they've got these purple bumper SL and SR buttons. That's a story for another time. Or indeed a story for a pastime, if you've already seen these, because I have done a video about them. And last in the hat, off you go. I've got this, which is a this is one of the ones, this non-wireless D-pad one. Literally never used it beyond doing a video about it, because I've got a lot of Joy-Con. So now we're getting into the meat, and I'm going to start off with the one that I use every single day, pretty much. Well, every day that I play the Switch, which is most days. This is just the standard, you know, sort of lovely, this is the standard Splatoon 2 Pro controller, and it's not in focus. This is the second Pro controller I got, and yeah, it's just the one that I use the most, and as a result, it's got a sort of a glossier sheen to it than when I first bought it, because I've worn it away, haven't I? Because the one that I actually use less, and well, have used less, this is my original Pro controller, which my partner Sasha, she now uses occasionally, but generally she just prefers to play handheld, so that's fair enough. But that's not the only one I've got, is it? You've probably been eyeing this one up for a while, and I don't think I've directly addressed it, at least not on the channel. Let's have a good old look at this. This is a Banjo-Kazooie themed Pro controller. And this is very special because, oh, look, there's Kazooie on the back and everything. This was a gift from a friend of mine, and I was in a really awkward situation. You see, it's displayed here, and it's going to go back on display there with Banjo himself. I was in a slightly awkward situation with it because I love the controller to death, but I don't want to get my hand grease all over it. We've all got our own hand greases, and mine is particularly corrosive. Like, really, I go through, like, metal stuff like bales on jewelry. I used to wear necklaces occasionally, and I just corrode right through them. But at the same time, I like things to be used, so I use it on occasion. You know, I use it for little things here and there. I don't make it a primary one, so it still looks great, but I still get some use out of it, because at the end of the day, it's a controller meant for controlling. Let's move on. This is one that I've never actually featured because we didn't ask for it, and then the company said, "Hey, do you want this?" And we were like, "No," and they sent it anyway. Comes in this case. This is essentially an Xbox controller, isn't it? I mean, it's not, but it's like a, I can't remember what it's called. It's called like the King Kong controller or something like that. And I'm not making that up. I'm pretty sure that's the name. And it's okay, you know, it's just a blooming controller. I mean, what is there to say? The finish is okay, but it leaves kind of streaky bits, and the worst thing is, though, this, do you see, can I get the light on that? Do you see this here? You see the logo and these buttons and everything, they're not in the center. They're off-center. And that's why I don't use this. Oh lordy, we got a selection of, well, I'm just going to show you one. This is, what is this? An Sn30. This is a classic. This is an 8-bit do controller. Let's have a good look at that. Is that in focus? Let's try again. It's a pretty standard controller. It's based on the SNES controller, obviously, but it is red. It's very nice. I like it. And it comes in a lot of other flavors, most of which I have got green, yellow, sort of Game Boy style, and blue. Marvelous. They're fine. They're good controllers. They feel good and responsive 8-bit do. They do some good stuff, and this is some of them. I don't need this many, though. I just like the colors. Whoa! I nearly couldn't find these. These are fake Joy-Con, and they are awful. They are actually terrible. I mean, I only need to show you that they clearly look off-model, you know, they don't look real, but the buttons are horribly soft and spongy, and listen to that. Horrible. The sticks are okay, and everyone's going to go, oh, but do they drift? I don't know, because I haven't used them long enough, because they're so bloody uncomfortable. Look at this! Look at this! They've even got like a space there. Can you see that? There's got like a space there for the IR camera, but it isn't there. It's just a bit of plastic, and it sounds awful, and you charge them with like micro USB, blah, blah. This is, I don't know what it's called, but it's made by a company called Retrobit. Basically, this is essentially an N64 controller, like a redesigned one, and it's designed for PC and Switch and stuff. Has somewhat limited applications as a Switch controller because you're missing a fair old few of the buttons. But it's a novelty. I'd prefer it if it was actually compatible with the N64, which you can get them compatible with the N64. They just have an N64 plug on the end. I think I'd have more use for those, considering there aren't any Oh, Super Mario 64. Hadn't thought of that. I didn't have, the Super Mario 64 wasn't out when I first got this, or I should say these. Because yeah, it comes in 2 other flavors as well, maybe more, I don't know. Ah, more 8-bit do things. I've got a lot of 8-bit do stuff. These are like, let's look at this one in particular. These are based on the TurboGrafx 16, I want to say. I never did a video about them because they're extremely limited. You can probably tell just from looking at them, you go, well, there's only 4 face buttons and start and select. Well, think again, there's only 2 face buttons. These 2 at the bottom are like turbo mode, I'm pretty sure. Very limited. I mean, definitely a nice novelty, and I especially like the really like crazy sort of old, sort of faded retro design, this one, and this one as well, like the blue and the black, but extremely limited. I mean, they work with like TurboGrafx, like mini PC Engine TurboGrafx thing as well, but I don't have one. So, God blimey, it's another one from that King Kong company. That's not the company. That's just, this is horrible. This is genuinely a really awful controller. So now you might look at it and you sort of think, oh, that's not so bad, Alex. What's so bad about it? The worst thing is that the shoulder buttons, L and R, absolutely fine, as you would expect. But then ZL and ZR, I don't know whether I can show you this, but they go down at like the edges. Like that, rather than being triggers that go down on that axis, they go down on that axis. That's awful! That goes against every instinct, and when you've got great big chuffing sausages like this, you have to sort of go like that. No, awful, awful. Also weirdly flat. Oh, do these count as Joy-Con? I haven't seen these in ages. Well, except for when I got them out for this video. Yes, it's the NES Joy-Con. I can't remember what they call these. These are official Nintendo things. I like these. They just feel like a NES controller, but they're wireless, and they've got weird Joy-Con rails, and you can use them attached to your Joy-Con, and it's the weirdest experience you can possibly have with these and a Switch at the same time. Good though. Ah, this thing, this. You're gonna need a good look at this. This is, how to describe it? This is like, I think it's designed for like Super Mario Maker 2, or it's designed for like touchscreen. This is like a touchscreen nib. It's got a battery, and it's got like buttons at the top here, which kind of look like volume buttons, but they're not. They're ZL and X. This is pretty much like a one-trick pony. It's designed just for that. A friend of mine sent me this, the same friend who bought me this, actually. Hi, Paul. And I did do a video about this pregnancy test-looking thing because, yeah, it has some fun applications if you try and play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with it. I didn't try it with Super Mario Maker 2 because I like the memes. More 8-bit do. I did a video on this one as well. Again, Super Smash Bros. It's almost like that's my go-to game for trying out a controller. This is really nice. This is based off like a sort of like a 6-button Mega Drive or Genesis, but more likely sort of a Saturn controller. It's kind of like semi-between the two. I really like it. It's got a really nice feel to it. It's nice and sort of ergonomic in the hand. Only thing is, it is really limiting because, again, you've got very few buttons. It does have, like, home menu button and everything like that, so it is better in that sense. But the nice thing is that this is mapped to the left stick. It emulates the left stick, so you press this around and you're actually doing left stick stuff, so you can play Smash with it. Again, Smash. Oh, lordy, more 8-bit do stuff. Incidentally, I'm probably going to get at least one comment saying, it's pronounced 8-bit do, like Nintendo. And it's like, well, it's not. I've got a speaker that is by 8-bit do, and it says 8-bit do. And I even mentioned that in a video previously and played the sound that it plays, and some people still try to correct me. Regardless, we got these controllers. These are, what are they, N30 Pros, and these are weird things. Let's have a look at this one. So this is the N30 Pro, as you can tell. It's based on a GameCube controller, and you know, it's fine. You know, it's a very compact controller, and I think that's the selling point of it. You know, it's nice and slim. You know, see how slim that is? You know, it's actually trying to be slim and achieving it. The sticks are a little bit fiddly, you know, they're a little bit tiny, but they're okay. The buttons are good and responsive. D-pad is very good. D-pad is very good. Shoulder buttons, kind of bizarre, but it kind of works, just about. Basically, you've got like ZL and ZR up here, and L and R back here, so you kind of got that and that. That's difficult to show, isn't it? But they come in all sorts of flavors, like GameCube, Black, Famicom, NES, N64. I ran out of hand space in this one. I like the N64 one. I like them all. It's just I don't have a lot of application for them. Certainly not right now when I'm not going anywhere. This old thing, haha. This is the... I think this is the Game Devil controller. This was one of the really earliest Switch Pro controllers, you know, like third-party ones. Have a good look at it. It's really, really average. Like, yeah, it's based on a PS4 controller or PlayStation controller generally. In fact, it does actually bear a striking resemblance to the DualShock 4. It's pretty average. The one party trick it does have is that the D-pad comes off. Let's see if I can... there we go. So the D-pad comes off and you can replace it with different kinds of D-pad, all of which I've lost because I don't use this controller, and I think I had another one. I think they sent me two, and this is the one I have left for some reason. The other one I gave to my brother because apparently I dislike him. It's okay, it's just extremely average and extremely early and has very limited functionality. No HD rumble or anything like that. It's, I wouldn't buy it now. Oh, this isn't a controller. This is an adapter. Yes, this is another... Same bit do again. Basically, this plugs into your Switch, and then you can use other controllers with it. And I believe, I don't know this one for certain, but I think you can use a Wii U Pro controller with it, which looks like that if you'd forgotten. But what I do know it works with is the Xbox One controller, or the newer ones, the Bluetooth ones. This isn't actually mine. This is my partner's. I bought it for her because we play Xbox every so often. Actually, we've been playing it slightly more recently. I've been enjoying it. Thank you, Halo. Got another adapter as well. It's another 8-bit do. Yes. Come unplugged. This is the G-Bros adapter, I believe it's called, and basically it's a GameCube controller adapter, but just like a singular one. There's just a single GameCube port on there, and you can also plug in like classic controllers in there if you like from the Wii, which I never have, but I have plugged a nunchuck into there and tried to play Super Smash Bros. With it, and that went about as well as could be expected. Honestly, I actually use this not every day, but pretty much every time I play Smash because I don't actually have an official adapter. I've never needed one. None of my friends are really into using GameCube controllers. It's just me, and this one's wireless and stuff, and I get to use this controller, which I suppose I could count, but you know, it's just the Smash Ultimate. Woo! But yeah, as a result, I use this literally every day that I play Smash, and it also works wired now. It didn't to begin with, which was a pain in the ass. It actually caused like a system error that was really bad. But then a firmware update fixed that, and I genuinely, this is, of all the other controllers, well, I suppose of all the third-party controllers, if you count this as a controller, this is definitely the one I use the most. Oh, what have we got here? This is the Sn30 Pro. This is another 8-bit 2 controller. Yeah, this is like modeled on the Game Boy, and this is really good. You know, it's kind of treading line between being compact and being, you know, sort of fully featured and stuff with full-size sticks and things like that, and, you know, still relatively thin. I like it. It's good for travel, but I don't use it very often. Again, I'm just not traveling at the moment, but when eventually I do... Good lord, this is dusty. I'm not sure I really want to show you this, but it's become really encrusted with filth. I don't want to show you. This controller needs a damn good clean, and I'm tempted to do a video all about how to clean controllers. So... be on tenterhooks for that. Also by 8BitDo, it's the Sn30 Pro Plus. This is really good. This is a Pro Controller alternative, a proper one, fully sized. It's actually slightly bigger, I would say, overall. Let's have a size comparison. The handles are certainly longer. Let's get a proper look at that. Look at those long old handles, or at least maybe the body is shallower. Either way you swing it, it is a slightly sort of, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say it's more comfortable than the Pro Controller, because I actively always choose to use the Pro Controller over this one, but that's mostly due to ghost inputs. Yes, this is a very good controller with some real issues. For some reason, every so often, it seems to put a big, like, down input, or is it left input? It puts an input in which is incorrect, and I never ask it to do it, and I think I had to roll back to a previous firmware in order to solve it, and as far as I'm aware, it still hasn't been solved. That is a major downside, and I am surprised it hasn't been fixed. Otherwise, very good. Aha, I got 2 of these. Can't remember why. I'm pretty sure the Pokemon Company just sent me 2 of them. Yes, it's the Pokeball Plus. Let's hold them up like that again, because that's funny. I like the aesthetic of these, and I like the way that, you know, sort of it's got a good sort of heft to it, a good feel. It's good and solid. But as a controller, I mean, if you don't know, this is a control stick, and you click it in, and there's a button at the top, and it's awful to use. Like, it's really, really awful. It's designed to be used with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and you move around with this. With this, you click that in, you click that in. It's horrible. It's really uncomfortable. It's spherical. You can use it with Pokemon Go as well, and I did for a bit, and then I didn't. Oh, gotta spread these out, I suppose. More 8BitDo. This is the 02. We're definitely gonna have to go nice up and close with this one. I've done a video about this one. It's, if you can't tell, super tiny, and it does actually have ABXY, Start Select, LR, and it also has like some special commands for like home and stuff like that. Ridiculous, and for most applications completely useless, but I really like it. I've got another one somewhere, I just don't know where it is, but it's sort of tealy, turquoisey, and would probably go better in this room. Stupidly tiny, kind of useless, and as a result, I love it to death. Oh, it's more 8BitDo controllers. Yeah, I generally hang on to the 8BitDo ones because they're generally pretty good. These are the lights. These are really odd. I don't know if you can tell. There's essentially 3 D-pads, because you got the sort of the left stick and the right stick, and this, I'm pretty sure it's the, yeah, that's the D-pad. That's like the button D-pad. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's meant to be like ultra portable, you know, and without being, you know, the 02. They have their uses, but they're so weird to use. They're not as uncomfortable as they look. They feel okay in the hand, not perfect, but they feel okay. Just don't quite know what they were going with this, and don't necessarily think it pulled off. Perfectly fine controllers, just don't really know who they're for. Ah, I think this is the oldest 8BitDo controller I have. This is the 8BitDo gamepad. It even says it at the top. It's the Sn30. It's like the original Sn30, and it's based on the North American one, if you can tell, because of the Parma Violet buttons. That's something that Americans won't get. This is basically identical to the other ones I've looked at. It's just older. So let's move on. Ha 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 ha, here we go. Pokken Tournament. I cannot fully remember why I've got 2 of these. Yeah, if you don't know, these are controllers that were designed specifically for use with Pokken Tournament, and let's have a look at them. They're kind of bizarre looking. I kind of like them. They've genuinely got a really, really nice feel in the hands, but very, very limited. I don't think you can even play Smash with these, because I'm pretty sure that this is a D-pad. I'm pretty sure that's just a D-pad. These are buttons, but that's just a D-pad. It doesn't emulate the left stick or anything. What's a man to do? Fun controller was supposed to light up here originally, in case you didn't know that. That was weird. There's actually space in there for LEDs, but no LEDs. It's a laugh. And lastly, oh, what could it possibly be? It's another 8-bit 2 controller. But sort of. I mean, eagle-eyed viewers will look at that and say, hang on, that says Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And you're right, it does. And people will say, hang on, isn't that a Famicom controller? This is what they look like in PAL, if you didn't know. I prefer them. But the interesting thing about this, let me turn it up there. So do you see that? So this is an official controller. It is and everything, you know, Nintendo. Don't know whether you can even see that, but yeah, this thing up here, this is wireless, and this is another 8-bit do thing. Basically, they sell boards that you can put into controllers like SNES, and I think they do NES, I think they do Mega Drive as well, and you stick them in there, and they're fully wireless and compatible with the Switch. It's so weird, and I'll be honest, I can't remember the last time I used this. This is actually from a SNES Mini. Because I've got some wireless controllers that I use for the SNES Mini, so I have no use for the wired ones. Proper bizarro little project thing, but it's fun. It's interesting. And the only thing is it charges in a really weird way because you charge it through that. It's like a tiny jack, and it's very easy to lose. Oh, would you believe it? That's all of them. That's all the controllers I own that are compatible with the Switch. I've probably missed some, to be honest. I did a good look around, but I couldn't find any more. There's a few that spring to mind, you know, quite a few wired controllers. There's like a Powerade. Hang on, didn't I also have a... No, I know one more. This, I did a video on as well. I really like this at first. This is the Powerade something. I don't know, it's a GameCube controller, obviously. I mean, yeah, and it's, you know, it's branded Nintendo Switch and everything. It's an officially licensed product. And it's a GameCube controller, but with all the buttons you'd expect from a modern controller in a lighter package, and it's wireless and everything, and you sort of think, Alex, why don't you use that? Well, because the C-stick is completely broken on this thing. People complain about Joycon drifting. This drifts like a mother. I didn't even know what it was for the longest time because drift wasn't something that was fully on my radar. But yeah, after about sort of 50 hours or so, I think it was, which isn't a short amount of time, but even so, you buy a controller for a console, you're gonna end up using it for more than 50 hours. This sucker just started drifting, and it was really, really frustrating because I really liked it. Not exactly the same as a GameCube controller, and I think overall I'm happier with the official one, the proper official Nintendo one. This is officially licensed, but you know what I mean. Hang on a minute. This isn't the wireless one. This is a wired one. But let's pretend this one was wireless, because I had a wireless one. I must have thrown it away because it was broken. But even so, Nintendo doesn't exactly have an excuse when it comes to drifting and the Joy-Con and everything like that. But at the very least, they are small, very small little thumbsticks. This is a bloomin' full-sized thingy. They've no excuse for that. And I was thoroughly disappointed with the controller that looks an awful lot like this one but isn't. And there you have it. So what? Whoa, that's a lot of controllers is all I have to say. Which is the worst? That's going to be a tricky one. I think probably... Where's the other one? The truly worst one is this one. I genuinely don't know what it's called. It is awful. It is just an awful controller. Horrible buttons, unresponsive, bad battery life, doesn't have most of the buttons. We've run out of battery on camera too again. It's just overall not a good time. I don't like this one at all, but it's kind of a specific thing, you know? It's almost a novelty. Realistically, the ones that people are actually going to be buying, it's these two. It's the fake Joy-Con. I hate them so much. Horrible, spongy buttons. Control sticks are okay. The shoulder buttons aren't good. You've got to charge them via micro USB. Terrible. This one's no slouch either. This one's also particularly awful. It's got some weird design choices, and it's okay, but I think it's these These shoulder buttons just do it awful. As for the best, well, obviously it's gonna have to go to this absolutely gorgeous hunk of Monk. I mean, come on, how could it not be this one? It's an official Nintendo product that somebody, I can't remember who, has souped up to look like everybody's favorite bear and bird duo. It rests on a bear and bird duo, which I think is partially obscured by the microphone stand. How on earth can you not say that that's the best? Although these are hilarious. Well, that is my controller collection. I hope you enjoyed it because it was a bizarre experience and it really makes me realize that maybe I should give some of these away. So maybe next time I'm doing some sort of like event when, you know, everything's calmed down a bit, shall we say? And I'm actually out and in the public, maybe I'll give some of these away. I'll sign them if you want as well. If you actually just want to use them as a controller and you don't really care who I am, that's fine too. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you very briefly analyze every single one of those subscribe buttons we have, which just so happens to only be one, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. Good lord, camera 2's run out of battery. I literally charged the battery up for this. Crap batteries. Oh, you little devil. No. For the viewers at home, I've just gone downstairs to get another battery and discovered my cat Punchkey has found a cotton bud. That's how exciting life gets around here. Oh god, he's found another one.